Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. Last Friday, there were a slew of announcements from the Finance Ministry about reducing taxes for corporates. I believe it's now down to 22% without any other incentives and 15% if you are a startup. Now, these are things that perhaps could have come earlier than this in the budget itself. However, in the budget, it got hiked and now it has, I think, been restored back, maybe a little bit more better than what it used to be. But to make sense of all these numbers, we reached out to our expert in finance, former professor of finance at IIM Bangalore, Professor R. Vaidyanathan. Professor RV, welcome to PGurus.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. It's always a pleasure to be in the in the program of PGurus, and you should also tell your customary advice or request to people to become subscribers.
Yes.
Once you are in a TV mode,
Yes.
you are not going to accept them unless and until they are.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And viewers, we really request you to click on the subscribe button. I mean, I've been looking at our traffic. About 70% now is unsubscribed traffic. So there is a lot of growth. There's a lot of room for growth. When you subscribe to our channel, what happens is every time there's a new channel, and we put about 2 videos every day, you get notified. So you don't have to go looking to YouTube to look for the new programs. It comes to you. So you can go and click on it and then watch the program. So please do click on the subscribe button. And let's get back to our main program. Thank you very much, Professor RV, for those kind words. Now, economy is a multifaceted, complex system, and corporate taxes are just one small aspect of it. Now, in terms of where you see the problem is, and what this new fix is, can you please help us dissect these numbers and try and get a handle on the reality?
So practically, I think every alternate week or every week, some announcement or something is being made from Finance Ministry, and there is a last 2-3 months at least there is a big build up by the media, particularly the business media, both the print as well as the television, that there is a huge problem in our economy. And along with that, the quarterly data have come, and much of the quarterly data are significantly revised much later, because quarterly data are very preliminary. Anyhow, on constant rupee basis, it was told that our economy is growing only at 5%, and it became a big area of debate and other thing, coupled with a couple of other news, like somebody later on, I think it was denied by Parle. Somebody told the Parle biscuits, which are supposed to be the most popular, 5 rupee type of biscuits and small, they are not selling well, and Parle is going to sort of retrench huge number of people, and so this was picked up by business channels, telling if people can't buy Parle biscuit, where are we heading? Parle biscuits are
But
supposed to be.
what is the incentive for these people to always sing the gloom and doom scenario, sir?
No, you see, there are, I will only quote you R.K. Karanjia in the 70s, who used to run Blitz. He always used to openly say 50 rupee for publishing the news, 500 rupee for not publishing the news. So which one you are taking? He will say. So there is much of, you see, the business channel, even business paper, much of it is sponsored items actually. There is, and second thing is, I think I did mention to you, there are more enemies within your party than outside. I think there is an anecdote I might have told you. I
Yes,
do not know.
you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Whole time, the young MP was enthusiastic and asked who are all sitting there, and told, are there our enemies? The senior person told, no, they are not our enemy. Our enemies are behind us. So in the party also there is a sort of a significant amount of eagerness by others to sit in that chair. So all it's all very interesting thing. Anyhow, So first was this talk about this slowdown in the transport sector, particularly the automobile, two-wheeler, four-wheeler, and other. If you see actually, automobile sector all over the world is going through a downturn. You know,
Correct,
US
correct,
companies,
correct, correct.
government companies, they're all laying down people. There are so many, reasons for it. One is the, so-called, what is that called, eco warriors. They are increasingly feeling that, that we should protect the environment. And one of the ways they think they can protect the environment is, going from large cars to small cars to sometimes cycling. All sorts of things are taking place. And so it is told the millennials are not very happy about the way environment issues are being tackled. Then the second is there is also eagerness in India, particularly. There is an announcement that we will go for the next levels of standards of Europe in the coming year. So people feel, why buy a earlier car and then upgrade it to next level of standard of Europe.
This
Then
is, you mean
electric
emissions?
vehicles are
Is this
also
emissions, sir? Is this emissions you're talking about?
yeah, emission as well as other type of yeah, correct. Then there is other main issue is this Uber and Ola has come and created havoc in our system, whether you like it or not. One estimate suggests one Uber is replacing something like 4 to 5 cars because
That's a high
individual
number.
owned
That's a
car.
high number.
No, wait. The reason is argument is like this. There is, I'm not going to quote the entire research paper. One Uber or one individual owned car, by and large, is taking him to office and then it is made to wait there. Sometime it may come back home and then his wife may go for shopping and other thing. Again, it comes to office and pick him up. This is what it does. But today, what is happening is these Uber or Ola are making something like 30 to 40 trips per day on various counts, in the sense it is never idle. It's never kept in the parking lot or something. Even
But
assuming
one.
it is replacing 3 cars, let's say,
Hmm, hmm.
that's a huge number actually, even
Correct,
assuming.
correct, correct, correct.
Second is a lot of elderly people are very enthusiastic about owning cars anymore. One is the driver, maintenance, salary, all that thing. So now you can always call Uber and travel in that. There is
So,
nothing,
so,
even if you have
so,
to pay a little
so
more.
the driver maintenance cost is all transferred to Uber. Instead of you doing it, Uber is doing it for
Correct.
you.
Correct. It's a plainly outsourcing. Simple. Why
Yes.
you want to keep all that?
Plus, some
And
people have to
given
have
the traffic
parking. Plus, some people have to have parking spot in their workplace.
huge,
Yeah,
yes.
and that is also
Thus,
solved.
shopping another thing. Better to go with Uber because
Yes,
he will
yes,
park somewhere and you ring him up and he will come to you.
correct,
You
correct.
cannot easily park at all, and
Yeah.
plus other traffic jam and other thing in major cities today. It's not a joy anymore to drive actually, if
Sir,
given an alternative,
it's
right?
not only not joy, it is a hazard even to walk on the footpath
Acid,
in cities like
correct,
Bengaluru, especially in the ITPL area, Technology Park area.
correct.
Motorcycles and scooters are on also on the sidewalks. So the thing is, they try to
Correct.
run you away, run you off.
Yeah. See, actually, I think if I remember correctly, this former Maruti chairman, he was telling that the younger
Bhargava,
generation
RC
is not
Bhargava.
so enthusiastic. Bhargava, he says buying car is not anymore a status symbol for
Hmm,
people. In the
hmm.
earlier time, in the 70s, 80s, having a car mean,
Socialist times, yeah, right,
you have proved something, but
right.
not anymore.
Hmm.
So there is a structural issue which is affecting the automobile sector. Plus, this GST has come, which has also removed in many places these what one can call waiting time in these in between states and in between within the city and other thing,
Yeah, so
the
you're talking about
barriers.
transport companies and
Trucks.
companies that are taking
So
data
there is a
rigs.
lot of
Yeah,
write up about how from Bangalore to Bombay and back now it is much faster. Earlier, what they were doing 5 trips, 3 trips. Now they can do 5 trips.
in a week.
That's something very, very interesting. shifting actually
in a week.
because of the removal of all these what are called this these you
Outposts,
know
check posts.
checkpost. So this is also taking place. So if you are having already 1 2 tracks, you will not be very enthusiastic in acquiring more track. The 2 tracks are doing the job of 3 tracks. There is some amount. And the last but not least is second-hand car sales are zooming. Actually, last year it was estimated to be 4.2 million or something in the organized sector, because I think you are aware second-hand car market in India is not fully organized.
Right,
Part
right.
of it is organized.
It's
Used car
usually
as the
it's
part.
usually handled by your mechanic. You're
Yeah,
looking
yeah,
for a new
correct.
car. You tell your mechanic. He'll say, "I'll let you know. Somebody else
You
will
will try
come."
to
He's,
find
he's like the
all,
clearing
or
outfit.
you have to go through your, yeah, you have to go through your friends, relatives, or
Yeah,
all
yeah,
those
yeah.
informal channel. Formal
Right.
is coming, but not very much. Point is, why should the second-hand market be booming and but not the main market? Main market also in the premium segment. There is, for instance, this new cars which are being introduced. Many of them have got a waiting time of 5 months, 4 months, another. Why
I
should it
see.
be?
I see.
If there is really a huge issue.
Hmm.
This Seltos, this car and so many new cars which are being introduced, the premium segment, I mean, they are all having waiting time. So put together, I think this is like that old story of the village boy shouting,
Hmm.
tiger is coming, and the tiger was never coming actually. So this started with the transport sector, or what you may loosely call the vehicle sector. They applied huge amount of pressure. Then it was felt that if you reduce GST, it will be helpful. See, people don't realize many of these are not price elastic at all. That's very, very important. It's not, if my assuming that GST reduction is passed on to the consumer, if my car is 7 lakh instead of 7.1 lakh, I don't think that's going to make a big difference in my
Right.
trying to buy
Correct.
that. Many
Correct.
items are not price elastic in India at all actually. If you want to buy, you buy. Pay some extra money. So that's all. So anyhow, that started. And then this biscuit, and then this FMCG sector and other. There are 3 points which I would like to make. One is much of the investment in India is not tax elastic. If you make tax rate 15%, that doesn't automatically mean huge amount of investment is going to be made by the companies. Whatever tax reduction has been made, let me assure you, sir, if at all it mean an assurance, not even 1 rupee will be passed on to the consumer. I
Hmm.
have seen it for the last 30 years.
Hmm.
Customs duty reduction, excise duty reduction, income tax, nothing has been passed on to the consumer. It's like RBI is periodically wailing that
Hmm.
we are reducing our interest rate at our level. Banks are not passing it on to the
Right.
customers. There is
Right.
no mechanism by which you can watch these things. First.
Hmm.
Second is setting up of a company or a factory or anything is not based on taxation.
Correct.
If in a
It's
location, if
it's the
in a
idea
place,
germinating into a product and so on and so forth. It's not
not
tax
only
based.
that,
Yeah.
local level there are huge problem. If I have to set up a facility today in say Karnataka or Tamil Nadu or something, I have to acquire land first.
Hmm.
And much of the land has to be aggregated, because it's not, you won't get a easily a 10 acre or something at a single. It has to be, and so many Elamas and Tippegowda will stand in the queue telling it is my land, my land. Much of the papers are not reliable. These are some fundamental problem faced by the entrepreneur in setting up a new facility, greenfield facility if you want. And obviously there is a huge amount of bribery and corruption in order to get allotted. One of the entrepreneurs I know, he wanted in a southern state to, you know, very near to the city, but he was feeling so much fluctuation in electricity being given to me, another thing. Let me put some what are known as these solar based, some 4 megawatt or something he has to have for his small unit only. So he applied to the government, another thing. He was told, believe me, for 1 megawatt, 1 crore you have to give us.
Why?
That's then only you will get the permission.
So this is back. This is bribe, plain bribe. This has got
Bribe,
nothing to
yes,
do with.
yes. Bribe only runs the system. Understand that. There is nothing else other than that actually.
Sir,
So obviously he gave up putting the solar. He told, okay, I will have to rely only on the the government electricity system. And aggregating land is not a joke, for which you have to go to the then Shops and Establishment Act. You have to get permission, and your canteen has to get permission for Food and Adulteration Act. See, all are at state government level. All of them are run on bribes. Nothing less or nothing more than that. People don't realize. One fellow commented, "I never get any bribe for buying a scooter." I told, "Have you ever checked your final bill? There is an item called service charges by your fellow who sold you the scooter. No vehicle can be registered in India without paying a bribe. That's included as far as you don't pay. That's all. That you can be very happy. Like I don't have to pay to the income tax authorities. My chartered accountant will take care of it. So this is not the issue. Issue is not they are not tax elastic. You make the tax even to 0%. Huge amount of investment is not going to come in. Just because tax is very low, because you have to produce, you have to see, you have to deal with the boiler inspector. And one of the IT company fellow was jokingly telling me in the mid 90s, this boiler inspector used to visit. These fellows used to say, we don't have any boilers or anything. We are only having youngsters who are boiling in the hot sun, nothing more than that. But the boiler inspector will be very unhappy. How can you have such huge facilities and other thing without this elementary thing? Anyhow, you give me some envelope, I will go away. Like that he used to joke. So this is the, and then your provident fund fellow will come, and then your labor fellow will come, annual survey of industry fellow will come. State level, it's a challenge to do business. It's a harassment to do business actually. It's not a joy to, just like we were talking about riding a vehicle. So you may reduce, nothing wrong about it. Incidentally, that's a plus point if you can reduce your tax level and other thing. But that itself is not going to spur the investment. There is another interesting thing. The fundamental problem in the economy is discussed by so many is supposed to be from the demand side. That is adequately people are not buying things. If it is from the demand side, increasing the supply by reduction of taxation is not going to help. What you should do is you should reduce the income tax of people. You should increase the level to which exemption is given up to say 10 lakh. Maybe. And other over that, I have given some suggestion in writing. 10% and 20% is enough to slab and remove all the type of exemptions and other things. Somebody asked me in the ministry, what is your ideal type of a tax system? I told very simple, where an individual like me can fill up on my own and give the forms to the income tax authorities without using a chartered accountant. If I can do that, that will be my ideal. And that is just simply, nobody can today, even I am reasonably educated and other thing, I can't file it. Nobody can do it in India. This is highest form of problem actually. So, and the second is on the GST side, they could have easily told up to 20 crore there is no GST, or up to 50 crore no GST, get lost. Above 50 crore, then they have so huge number. I told, don't exclude them. Prepare a schedule and announce it now itself. In the year 2021, those who have got turnover of up to 25 crore only will be exempted. In the year 2022, those who have got turnover up to 10 crore will be exempted. You have a schedule and then go on bringing them in. Prepare them to get into it. GST is also not a joke. Large number of small businesses in India have never had the habit of filing any of these forms or anything. Right. Generally give the cash, get the cash back, trust basis, things are going. So you are doing a huge ambush on the informal sector. In the sense, you are waging a war against the informal sector. Right. And you can't wage that war, today itself. Then you have to do a guerrilla warfare, up to 50 crore fellows you first tackle, then 25 crore fellow, then 10 crore fellow, then my local nagamas. So this is the way in which you have to, anyhow. So our thinking is pendulum like, one extreme or the other extreme. We don't settle in between. We had an outcry system. I used to tell you, if you remember, in the stock market. Today you cannot transact in the stock market without having a software, a computer.
Yeah,
there is no outcry system. You can't go and shout there at all. You will be thrown out.
Right.
The whole hall of Bombay Stock Exchange is empty today.
Right.
We went to the other extreme. New York still has got outcry system. Japan has got outcry system. Anyhow, my point is, you have included all sorts of fellows into GST. And obviously it is not going to be easy. And what is the end result? The smaller fellows will be harassed. And some, bribery will increase at that. This is the thing. So tax reduction is, I won't say it is bad or anything. It is not a aushadam. It's not a medicine for solving the current thing is, you must reduce income tax. One. Second is, we must not worry only about the data provided by the organized sector, particularly in the quarterly number. For instance, we have 50 companies in the Nifty 50. And Sensex has got 30 companies. These 30 are more or less in the 50, maybe one or two.
Right.
Now, these 50 companies, one of my well-known person, corporate knowledgeable, he estimated using all their balance sheet and other figure, they are all put together around 30 lakh they are employing.
3 million. 3 million. 3 million. Yeah.
3 million. Our labor force is 500 million.
How is that? So where are the 497 million working?
Most of them are self-employed. Of course, out of that 500 million, remove some 200 million will be agricultural related. Right? So the remaining, if you take 500, 40% is 200, 300. Another 20 million is employed in government, 2 crore. So in the 200, 180 million. All these are self-employed or contract laborers. Self-employed, I mean retail traders, petrol pump owners, one truck owners, one small restaurant owners, all these type of fellows. Then you have these contract laborers under this construction activity and various other. For instance, Reliance, if you take, their number will tell that they are employing some 20,000 people. That doesn't include all the franchisee retail network people and the geo retail network people.
Right.
If you include them, it will be under 100,000. My point is, the data which is focused or about which these people are so much worried is that Nifty companies. And their share in GDP is hardly 6 to 7%. So we have a, what one can call uncanny knack of focusing on inconsequential and immaterial.
Sir, put yourself, sir, put yourself in the FM shoes, finance minister shoes.
Yeah.
The FM gets up in the morning, reads the newspapers, watches business channels. There's nothing but this 6% being amplified and amplified.
Very correct.
So
yeah,
why isn't the finance minister?
Thing I want to say, the more noise you can create in India, the more benefit you get. One. Second is, you should also represent the big four. That is very important.
Crying baby gets the milk.
Ernst & Young and KPMG, they all they all can go to North Block anytime and come out. Not you and me. You and me have to wait for 15 days, put application and so you have to be either white or coconut. Coconut is outside brown, inside white, or one of these shouting channels. So that is the focus there. So if you want to really look at, you have to, first of all, according to me, we have to wait for next 2 quarter result, not based on 1 quarter.
Before we can draw any conclusions.
Correct. And the second is not just on the organized sector. 50 to 55% of our GDP comes from the so-called unorganized or partnership proprietorship firm. Now, big companies, what is doing? I was told by a person reliable that Britannia has got more than 50% outsourced. He told me, you go to nearby shop in your place, he will put a, he will remove the lid of the glass jar and put his hand inside and give you a biscuit. It's the same biscuit we sell, except we are putting it into wraps and putting it into so many colorful.
So they have outsourced the packaging for the product.
Huge amount has been outsourced for all manufacturing of items have been outsourced by the FMCG companies originally. Fast moving consumer wallet like Hindustan Liver, soap powder, toothpaste, toothbrush, everything is outsourced, and they are all made in small units, which is not fully captured in our data. Is my point, both for employment as well as for GDP.
Yeah,
Same.
I also know.
Over period here, I will tell you what has happened over period. From FMCG, it has come to consumer durables. One person was telling me, you are wondering whether to buy a Crompton fan or Bajaj fan or anything.
They're all being made in the same place.
Made in Hyderabad. Two fellows in Hyderabad make most of these fans and then sell it.
Yes.
And these people put the label and resell it.
Sir, I must tell you one thing. Sir, please humor me. I have to tell you one thing. In 1997, I went on a work-related trip to Korea, and I went and looked at one of the major manufacturers. Those guys now have their own name brand. At that time in 1997, as you walk down the aisles, I could see every Japanese VCR manufacturer's name, every aisle.
Yeah.
Hitachi, Toshiba, JVC, and all these things. And I asked engineer, so how come you're having so many different designs? He said, no different designs, one design. Just box
label. Correct. Same thing is happening here. So this went into fast-moving consumer goods. Then it went into consumer durable. Other day, one LG person was telling me, it doesn't matter whether you buy LG or Samsung. It's the same thing only. Except people, both are assembled in Noida or this Bombay's Dharavi. So because both are imported and assembled only. So the point is, this has gone into higher levels like Siemens, Larsen and Toubro, so many.
Right.
Significant amount is now outsourced, which is not fully captured in terms of both employment as well as in terms of GDP. Sir, particularly in the quarterly data. Outsourcing is so much a big issue. I will tell you one simple illustration. You remember this. My neighbor has got a dog now recently. I have a dog for quite some time. My dog is not barking for some disturbance in the road. I was wondering because the neighbor's dog has started barking for small disturbance. My dog has outsourced the activity of barking in the night to the neighbors. He just come, let him do it. Unless it's a major issue, what do you call in your computer jargon, level 5. Then my dog gets up and start barking. So this is the level of outsourcing. I think if you remember this, you are true. Right? So this is not captured by quarterly data. That is one. Second is all these partnership proprietorship firms are called by our CSO now. After your Aravind Subramaniam and Raghuram Rajan revolution, they are all called quasi-corporates, whatever it means. They are not corporates. They are also not non-corporate. Quasi-corporate is something like partly pregnant. Either you have to be pregnant. You can't tell a woman that you are partly pregnant. No, it's very difficult, right? Either she has to be pregnant or not. These are the 0-1 states. But India is a very funny country. Everything is, it can be in several quasi-corporate. And do they estimate it? No. They treat it as old partnership proprietorship and it households. All, I tell you, first of all, the data has to be completely cleaned before big type of what one can call solutions are demanded. So what you say is correct. Small group, maximum noise. You should control the media, a good section of the media and business, and create a scare. Whole thing is. However, inflation is 2.5%, 3%. That nobody is talking about. Phenomenal amount of appreciation. I used to buy tur dal at 180 rupees. Today it has come to 90 rupees. So this aspect of nobody is interested in discussing. Anyhow, everybody is only want Josh, sort of a big hike. So let me conclude, the reduction in the tax rate for corporate is not a bad thing, but that's not a solution. Due
Well,
to that, huge amount of investment is not going to come up, and individual tax rates at 30% plus individuals also pay huge bribe. My estimate is, on an average, an individual pays 20% per annum in his lifetime in India. So you add this 30 plus 20, 50% is individual's burden. It doesn't matter to me whether I pay it in the form of tax or pay it in the form of bribe. Correct? So
yes,
50% for individual and 20% for corporate is not a very what you call desirable thing.
desirable state of affairs. Yes, yes, indeed.
Affairs.
Yes,
So
and
we have to see what is the real issue with our economy and then try to offer good solutions.
sir,
That is
one takeaway thing that I'd like to suggest, and you know how we are good at giving unasked for advice.
right.
Either Niti Aayog or the Office of the CEA should be able to build models for this quasi-corporate and be able to accurately predict their income also and factor that in all these decision-making
Yeah,
processes. And it should be,
correct.
presented in these press conferences. Nothing wrong in saying, look, India is only so little corporate, but so much is unincorporated, and there is a significant amount of activity going on there. I mean, it seems to me that with proper enunciation, this problem perhaps could be, less than what it appears to be. Why is somebody making a mountain out of a molehill? And that sort
See,
of
the problem is imported experts. In US, in your US, United States, the so-called partnership proprietary, these small unorganized constitute 6 to 7% of their GDP.
right.
So they are called residual in their jargon. If you look at the US national account
Mm,
statistics, these are called residual, which is correct,
mm.
5 to 6. In India, something which is 50%, we call it residual.
Well, it
Max.
is because these people are coming from United States and sitting
Correct.
there. They
They
have
have
a template.
never,
They
they have
have to
never,
somehow plug it somewhere.
correct. They should be given one 30-hour course on Indian economy before before they begin to advise our government. I will tell you one thing. Now I can tell without quoting any name. One chief economic advisor in India. This was quite a long time before. I was traveling with him purely accidentally in the aeroplane. He was sitting next to me. We were discussing. I told, in a country like ours where 80-85% is self-employed or contract labor, he told, Professor, stop. Is it really? I told, what is this? You are asking me. You should be knowing more. Because you have all the data with you. He didn't know this. He is
Hmm.
this chief economic advisor to the government of India. Because in US, something like 85% is actually in the organized sector. For instance, all the mom and pop stores have been absorbed by
Walmart first. Walmart first, and
Walmart.
now
So
Amazon is eating
everybody
Walmart.
is putting,
Now Amazon is
every-
eating Walmart.
yeah,
Now
correct,
Amazon is eating Walmart.
correct. So everybody is putting on, blue dress and one apron and standing there. All these earlier mom and pop store fellows.
Yes.
So he think that these people think that same way as in India without knowing. In India, this mom and pop, whatever you call it, actually, it is a grandma and grandpop, whatever stores, which are actually the ones which has something like 40 million people employed today. Anyhow,
So
so there is a huge, what your take is extremely good. The sooner we recognize it, sooner we capture it into our regular quarterly or monthly database, better it would be for us. Other than creating alarms or making a big flash of every 3 months data, we jump and then we have to wait. We'll wait. We are not doing very badly. Let me tell you that much also, as a as a note of enthusiasm. Our performance is not as bad as it is made out. We'll wait till period of December quarter or March quarter, and then you will come to know the position, right?
Thank you very much, Professor RV. We'll be back with more such illuminating discussions.